When you first open AutoCAD, this is the page you will be presented with. The recent projects over here, news from Autodesk down here. On the top here are the tools. As you can see, they are graded out. You can either click on open to browse for existing projects, or you can click on new to create new templates. As you can see all these templates here. Let's go with the default acad.dw by double clicking on it. Once it's open, you can now be able to use this tool up above. Now here in the top left corner is the application icon. When you click on it, you can see a bunch of operations you can perform. Open an existing project, you can save your project, you can import and export projects, even to print. Now on the top here is the ribbon. You may click the insert tab or the annotation, but most of the time we shall be using tools from the home tab. Down here is the command bar. On the right here is the navigation bar. We shall look more about it later in the course. This is the view cube and this is the view area. You can always hover over any of the tools to see the ins and the tips of what each tool can do. Let's look at how to draw objects in AutoCAD. Now let's come under the home tab here. Let's click on line to draw a line. You can click on the first time to specify the start point, click the second time, then click the escape key. Let's click to draw a line again for the second time. Now when you click to draw a line and you click for the first time to move, you can see as we move the line along, we can see the angle with respect to the x-axis, and you can see the length of the line highlighted in blue. You can manually type the length of the line. You can press the tab key to move to the angle and also type the angle size, then press enter and press the escape key. Now let us draw a circle. When you come over here and you click on circle, you click the first point and drag. As we drag, you can see the radius of the circle highlighted in blue. You can just type the radius length and click enter. That's how we draw a circle. To draw an arc, you come here and you click on the arc tool and you're going to click 3 times. Let's look at how to draw polygons and rectangles. Over here, when you hover over this tool, you can see you can draw a rectangle. When you click on it, you can draw your rectangle. Now before you click and release, you can see the length of the triangle at the bottom. You can type to specify, then you press the tab to write the width of this rectangle. As you can see, that's how you draw a rectangle. Now to draw a polygon, over here you can click on this down arrow, then click polygon. Start by specifying the number of sides, then you press enter. Then you click to draw and you press inscribed in circle. Then now you click and you drag. That's how we draw a polygon. To select an object, you can always move your mouse over and you left click on that object. For multiple selection, you can left click on each object at a time, as you can see, without even holding the shift key. To select all the objects in the view area, you can press Ctrl A. To deselect all of them, you can again press escape key. How about if you want to deselect only the square object? You can hold the shift key, then you click on the square object. Alternatively, you can click on the space and then you move over that particular object, as you can see. To select an object, you can always move your mouse over and you left click on that object. For multiple selection, you can left click on each object at a time, as you can see, without even holding the shift key. To select all the objects in the view area, you can press Ctrl A. To deselect all of them, you can again press Escape key. How about if you want to deselect only the square object? You can hold the shift key, then you click on the square object. Alternatively, you can click on the space and then you move over that particular object, as you can see. Let's look at the navigation bar. Over here to the right, you can see this is the navigation bar. It has a few tools which are very useful. For example, this is the pan tool. When you click on it, you will be able to drag and move the workspace, as you can see. It's very useful. To leave the tool, you can press the escape key. Then again, here we have the zoom extents. Assuming you want your work to fit in this area here, the view area, you can always click the zoom extents. As you can see, the work is now fitting the zoom area. How about if you are not able to see the navigation bar? You can always move here to the view tab and always make sure the navigation bar is checked. With that, you can now see the navigation bar is back. Let us talk a little bit about mouse control. For example, let's talk about zooming. If you want to zoom your work, you see this cross with a small square in it, in the center. That is the normal mouse. Now if you want to zoom, you always have to move it over that object you want to zoom. Then you scroll down to zoom in and scroll up to zoom out. Make sure the mouse is always on that part you want to zoom in or out. Then to pan around the work area, you can always come here and click this pen tool, or click and hold the mouse wheel like this. Then you will be able to pan around the work area. Note that, assuming you had clicked on any other tool like this, the only way you can come out of it is by pressing the escape key, so that you can come back to the original mouse. To always select your object, you can always left click on it, or just highlight it all by still left clicking on it. Then if you had selected your object, you can always right click to see additional properties and functions you can perform on it, like to erase. The modification tools, you can find them here under the modify panel. You can always hover over one of them to see the tips of what any can do. We are going to look at them one by one. The move tool. First, let's select the object you want to move, like this. Then you come and click on move. Specify the base point. Then you'll be able to carry it from one location to another. That is how we use the move tool. Now let's move an object. But first, we must first select it by left clicking on that object. Then we click on the move tool. We're going to carry it with any point, maybe from here. Then you shall be able to move it from one point to another, like here. That is how the move tool works. Now let's look at the rotation tool. Here is the rotation tool. You can always select that object you want to rotate, then you come over here and click rotate. So let's specify the base point there, then you can rotate it the way you want. That is how the rotation tool works. The trim tool. For the trim tool, you can go ahead and just click on trim. Then you can always click on the lines you want to trim, like this, that, and that. That is how the trim tool works. The extend tool. Normally, the extend tool is used for extending lines to other lines. Assume you want to extend this line here to this one. First, we start by highlighting this line. Then you click on the drop down arrow here and click on extend. Then you click on each line. As you can see how they are being extended to the other line. Click on them one at a time. That is how you extend a line. Or you select the line you want to extend, then you hover over this end point. You can see the color start changed. Then you click and stretch it over to this line. Those are two ways you can extend a line. The eraser tool. Erase is to delete an object. Before you erase, you first select it by left clicking. Then you come over here and click the eraser tool. You can highlight a bunch of objects, click the eraser tool. That's how you use the eraser tool. Okay, let us look at the copy tool. First, select an object by left clicking. Then here you click the copy tool. Then specify the base point. You can copy it here or there. You're going to copy it as many times as possible, not until when you press the escape key. Yeah, that's how the copy works. The mirror tool. Let's select our object. Then here we click on mirror. Specify your base point, and then you can see the duplicate of the other original copy being mirrored on the other side, on the right side. Now you can specify to delete the source object or to let it be. So we can click no, so that we don't delete this source object here. That's how mirror works. The fillet tool. We normally use the fillet tool to smoothen or to curve the edges of an object. Now let's move here. Click this arrow and click on fillet. Now you are prompted to specify the first object, but let us come down here and click on radius. Then you are prompted to type in the number. Let's type 1 and press enter. And now you can specify the first object, then the second object. You can see that this edge is now curved. That is the application of the fillet tool. Let us look at the explode tool. If you look at this square hole here, you can see as I click over each line, it is independent. But this other square is all joined together. Now, to make this other square here to have independent lines, we have to use the explode tool by selecting on it like this. Just over here, click on explode, and there. Now the square has single lines. That is the use of the explode tool. The scale tool. Scaling is to make it either big or small. First, let's select our object we want to scale. Then over here, we can click on scale. Then specify the base point. You can stretch it the way you want. You can see the preview. That is how we scale objects. Now the offset tool. To offset a line, click on it, click on offset, put enter. You can see the copy of this line to the right. Click on confirm. You can select additional objects by selecting the circle, move inside or outside, click on it to confirm. That's how we use the offset tool. Let's talk about some of the useful functions in AutoCAD. Let's start with the command bar. Down here is the command bar. Command bar helps to display the history of your work. For example, what you have been performing will always appear here. That's one use of the command bar. Or you can always type the name of the tool you always want to search for. For example, line. Then you always come and click on line, then you're ready in the line tool and you'll be able to draw a line. You can type the name of any tool you want. Now, if you don't see the command bar, you can always press Ctrl 9 and you'll have your command bar back. Let's talk about the grid. As you can see, this work area, these small fainted lines forming small squares, that is the grid. You can always come down here and toggle it on and off. Now you see there's no grid. You can click on it and it's on. You can always note that these are the tools which have blue background. They are all on. The snap grid. This is the snap grid. For now it is off. When you click on it and you always want to draw a line, you can always see as you keep moving, it's trying to snap to the grid. Even when you try to draw, it's trying to snap to the grid. Now when it's off, you see they cannot snap to any grid. Let's look at the ortho mode. Now down here is the ortho mode. For now it is off. What it does is that when you turn it on and you want to draw a line, it all allows you to move in the X or Y direction. You cannot draw it to any other angle until when it's off. Then you'll be able to draw it in any angle you want. Let's talk about polar tracking. You see when you try to draw a line and it's always trying to snap to that green line, it is simply because polar tracking is on. Now this is polar tracking. Now when you turn it off and you try to draw a line again, you will not know whether you're straight on the x-axis or you're straight on the y-axis. You can always turn polar tracking on, or you can click on this down arrow to select the angle you want your line to always be snapping to. For example, if you click on 45 here, and when you try to draw a line this time, as it tries to snap to this axis, it can also estimate that angle of 45. That's how useful a polar tracking function is. Let's see the object snap. If you want to draw a continuous line starting from this end point of a line, as you can see, snapping to it, and that little green square has appeared, you can always click and continue. Even if you zoom on it, you can see you have really started from the real end. Now this is the object snap. What if it is off? And when you try to snap to the end of this point, you cannot really tell whether you're on it or not. So you need to turn it on, or you can even select. For example, the end point is checked. Now the midpoint of a line is not checked. That's why when you try to draw a line starting from the midpoint of this line, you cannot tell where it is unless when you check it, and then when you come here and you can now see it's trying to snap to the center of that line. Let's look at how we can save our project in this tutorial. You can either press Ctrl S or come here to the application icon and come and click on Save As. You can always specify where you want your work to go to, maybe to the desktop. Then you select any existing folder in case you have it on the desktop. Then here is the file name. You can write whatever you want. Down here is the file type. By default it is the AutoCAD file.dwg. You can select any other from the drop down list, and then you can always click save. Now that is how we save work in AutoCAD.